G'day folks, welcome to this continuation of Scenario 2, the Turkish Counter-Attack from Assault on Gallipoli. I'm partway through the second turn here. The killing time marker sits on 4, which means we're not far from the end of the turn. And I think I'm slowly learning that the Turks need to have adopt a different approach to their attack in this scenario compared to the approaches of the first scenario. Because this is only a 3-turn scenario, we're only 1.5 turns away from the end of the scenario, and they haven't captured an objective yet, they really need to start pushing. So as I recommence, I've attempted to soften up some of these Anzac positions, not very successfully. I think it's time to just start charging in and hope for the best. You can see what I've tried to do is move around the south side of Lone Pine. We've got a close combat down here on Shrapnel Green. Look, I don't know. Johnson's Jolly is relatively weakly defended by two battalions, sorry. But there's wire in there, so I have to be adjacent, which means I can't move anybody in. These guys are exhausted. We've got some exhausted battalions there, but a machine gun and some good officers. It's some really difficult decisions in this scenario. Another thing I'm learning. Okay, so I want to start off with a big point here, because this scenario starts with these deep trenches, -2, -2, -2, all along the front. It's hard for Ottoman fire, offensive fire, to overcome that negative dice roll modifier. They're often firing uphill or at range. They're often looking at just 1 or 2 to hit. What that means is, you can roll a bucket of dice. You can roll 10 dice. And, in this case here, you'll get maybe 1 hit, but this advances the killing time marker. Now, what that means is that the turns are progressing faster than you would normally inflict casualties. You're getting fewer casualties, but the turns are moving faster. And the lesson I'm drawing for that is I've got to engage in close combat. But where and how? And, they're in such good defensive positions. And as soon as I spoke about in previous videos, as soon as you attack, you invite yourself open to a counterattack. But the time for dilly-dallying is over. It's time to move from the chessboard into Russell's top. We'll leave our machine gun behind to provide a bit of defensive support, and we'll move in there. What this means is that the Anzacs now get this defensive fire opportunity. They get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice. 4, 5, 6, 7 dice. Hitting on a 4, 5 or less. 5 or less, yeah. So this is going to be devastating for the Ottoman forces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's wiped out the entire force. This is what I mean. It's just, it's a game that really, this scenario really favours a good solid defensive position. There, I've just lost 3 battalions and an officer. They don't even get a chance to attack. Now it's the Anzacs' turn, and in fact they've got an opportunity to hit the chessboard here. Do they do so? Still got some boats back here. 1, 2, 3. So let's use our boats. 7 dice in a trench. So it's 4 down to 2, uphill down to 1. So look at how many dice is it? 7 dice again. This time I'm needing a 1 to hit. Let's see how we go here. No hits, but we do advance the killing time marker. And so this is my point. You're less likely, this is the die result, you're less likely to inflict casualties. Sorry, that just moved. You're less likely to inflict casualties, but you've got the same chance of advancing the killing time marker. So the turns move, well, it feels like they move quite fast because you're not inflicting the casualties that you'd otherwise inflict. Turks feeling quite desperate now, and I just don't know how else to soften up these Allied positions. I've got 3 regiments here and an officer. in Mortar Ridge. And I think we'll just head straight to Queen's Post because things, as I said, are getting desperate. So we'll move into here. They become exhausted. The Allied forces will get a counterattack. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh wow. So we got 7, 8. And we're looking at, again, I think we have a +2 modifier from the officer. Monash, gee, so we're looking at 6 or less to hit. There's another killing time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, it's just absolutely devastating. It's not a good strategy, but I don't know. I don't know what else to do here. Our remnant can fire back, but it's not going to do any damage. Yep, it's going to. In fact, I think it will do a damage. 4 or less, -2, will inflict. So these should all be flipped now. I think I made a mistake there. I don't think the exhausted units fire. But we'll lose, we'll turn one of those into a remnant. Okay, well, I think this, I don't know. I think, what else do we do? Fire some machine guns into these exhausted units. Let's give it a go. Three dice, needing 2 or less because of the deep trench. That's a miss, miss, miss. The allies respond. How are they going to respond? How do they respond? What do they need to do? They don't need to do anything. Do I have any more artillery? Where's my Indian artillery? There it is. Let's fire that in the machine gun. So that's 6 dice. 7, 8. +1. So we've got 8 dice, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, +1 into wire gully. So looking at 5 or less. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits, and that's in the turn. So they can just reduce 1, 2, 3. And killing time marker advances. We're at the end of the second turn. Now we do have a close combat phase. There's 2 close combat phases actually. So we'll work through that. Okay. We'll start down here in Shrapnel Green, where the Allied forces have 1, 2 dice, 2 cards, sorry, and the Ottomans have 4. Now, of course, with close combat, there is a minimum card draw. It's 2 plus in a shallow trench is 3. Minimum of 3 combat cards each. So the Australians receive 3. Ottoman forces get 4. And Ottomans are in the attack, so we'll look at their cards first. Bayonet charge, well 2 bayonet charges. Let's lead with the bayonet charge and see how the Allies can respond. They have a bayonet charge, so they'll match that. And then they'll try to roll to seize the initiative. They need a 4 or less. I think it's modified by their leader. Yeah, sorry, 3 or less plus leader bonus of 1. So 4 or less, they seize initiative. So the Anzacs have 2 cards left. Creeping Barrage or Creeping Barrage. They're going to play Creeping Barrage. Ottoman forces can respond to that, and they'll try to seize the initiative, and they will get a 4 or less. Fail. Anzacs keep the initiative, playing with the Creeping Barrage. Ottoman forces don't have one. Yeah, they fail. They can't meet that. And so, Ottoman forces are the losers. Only 2 cards played by the Ottomans, so they lose 2 casualties. They're going to take one of those off and replace it with a remnant, and then retreat. And the Allies lose casualties, so it's number of cards divided by 3, I think. The winner loses 1 damage for every multiple of 3, so they lose 1 unit. I'll turn them. I think we're out of remnants actually, so I might take McLaughlin off. We'll lose McLaughlin as a leader. Okay. And another combat over here. Not a lot going on. It'll be 3 versus 3. With Ottoman forces having the initiative, and that's pretty good. They'll play Infiltrate, and the Allies can meet that. They don't have a leader, so 3 or less, which they fail. The Ottoman forces play Reserve Trench, and they'll play that as an Infiltrate again, and the Allies cannot respond, so they lose the combat now. They lose their remnant. Ottoman forces don't lose anything, and they seize Bolton's Hill, which isn't going to really help them too much because there's only 1 turn left. They're in trouble. Okay, so check the victory conditions, move the marker to the next turn, which is turn 3, the last turn of this scenario. We flip all our exhausted units back to their fresh side. So yeah, lessons learned. I think the Ottomans should have pressed a bit harder early in this scenario. Because they've only got 3 turns to capture, and they've got a lot of forces that they should have sent further up. I mean, I really should have just driven hard, making a mess here of the cannons. Should have driven hard and charged early. I don't know, because, I mean, we just saw then what happened when I did charge. Oh, another close combat here. Alright, let's resolve that. What do we have? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 3. Ottomans attacking. I'm going to play this off screen very quickly. Infiltrate is matched. They continue. Raid is matched. The Allies have plenty of reserves. They try to seize initiative. They succeed. Allies play Creeping Barrage, which can't be matched, and so they win, and the Ottoman forces lose that. Okay, flipping over the rest of these units. Maybe I should have brought my artillery together, maybe moving them together so that they're all firing in one action, rather than an action here, an action there, an action here, for example. Lets me do more with my actions, perhaps. Keep flipping over these units. And we roll for the morale advantage. Now the Turks have now suffered a lot of casualties, and the morale advantage shifts to the Allied forces. And so they get first strike. There's really no threat. I'm going to try and just soften up this position here. So we'll fire with our ships. 1, 2, 3, 4 into here. 7 dice. There is a trench, a level 2 trench there. So it'll be -2. It's uphill as well. So 1 or less. no hits, but a killing time marker. Now, Ottomans, what are they going to do? Oh, sorry, we draw action cards as well. I'll just fix that up. Allied forces. Okay. What can the Ottoman forces do here? They don't have much to do. I don't know. They've got a whole heap of objectives to capture. Sorry, they should have been flipped over. Let's have a go with this artillery. Again, level 2 trench. It just feels there's not much I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So is it maximum range? Okay, we're looking at 4 dice, needing a 1 to hit. Fail. Allied forces. Let's soften up these positions here. We'll do a +1 to hit. So we've got 5 dice. The ship's shooting at this position here. 5 dice. No trench here, so it'll be 5 or less to hit. 2 hits, which will we'll take the remnant off, 1, and we'll reduce them for 2, but deters them from attacking, and that's another killing time marker. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss. Let's get some more artillery, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4 dice. -2, looking at 2 or less to hit. 1 hit and a killing time. So 1 hit from here. A remnant. That's all. And killing time advances again. Back to the Allied forces. They've got this artillery on the beach. Whoa, what are they going to shoot at? At 9 dice, a range of 4. Let's hit this position. I'm here. 1, 2, 3. So 9 dice. They are in a... That was a deep trench, I think. That'd be 1 to hit. It's not great odds, but let's give it a go. 1 hit. 2 hits. Okay. These are the guards. So 1, 2. That's pretty good. Alright, back to the Ottoman forces. Yeah, again, I really don't know. I think the writing's on the wall here for the Ottomans. A terrible start, a terrible follow-up, kind of a muted ending. I've got machine guns at the front here. Guards have just been exhausted. I've got a stack here, but they really can't do much. A machine gun and 2 small regiments. 4 dice, firing uphill, be 1 to hit. If I charge in, they're only going to be able to grab 1. Artillery, let's try and soften up again. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 4 dice. 4 dice, 2 or less to hit. Nothing again, so they're done. Back to the Allied side. Look, they're not worried about anything. What do they want to do? More artillery somewhere? Here we go. Machine gun on the beach. 1, 2, 3 at maximum range. So that's 3 dice. Shoot these guys down here. -1 because the range is 3 or less. And a hit. So that reduces the other regiment down here. Alright, Ottoman forces giving up basically. 3 into here, needing a 2 or less. Fail. They're done. There's nothing they can do. They just they could kind of charge in and have a flurry of close combat, but as we've seen last turn, because these frontline units aren't exhausted, they get this opportunity fire and they obliterate these units. Let's demonstrate how this works. So they get 4, 5, 6. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's charge again into Quinn's post, and I'll show desperate last charge, they get... Oh, they can't because it's got wire there, but there's no wire up here. So they're going to go to Russell's top. And they get an opportunity fire of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice with a +1 modifier. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hits and a killing time. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, replace with a remnant, 3, and then 4. We'll take that officer off, which gives me an advancing fire, I think, of 4 dice with a +1 modifier is 5, minus the trench is 3 or less. Ooh, 2 hits and another advancing time. So these guys, sorry, should have been flipped. 2 hits will take off one of those regiments. Alright, we're going to have some close combat here, but it's not going to be enough. Okay, and back to the allied turn. Well, let's fire into this space, try and soften them up. 5 dice, looking at 4 or less. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's yep. 1, 2, 3. 4. And let's try another charge. So there's wire here. There's not much we can do. We can try and reinforce this position. Yeah, look. What else can we do? Machine guns. 3 dice. We'll fire here at Russell's top again. -2 for the trench is 2 or less. That's a hit. We'll kill off that regiment. And I think the Allied forces... Oh, here we go. We've got some artillery here. I'm thinking we might just reinforce that position. Got some big guns here on Pluggy's Plateau. Where do we strike at? Maybe this position over here? Yeah, let's hit there. So we've got 9 dice. -2 for the trench is 2 or less. We get 1 hit. 1 hit. Not great. Back to the Ottoman forces. And what the heck? We'll go charging towards Lone Pine. Oh, we can't because it's got trenches. It's got wire, sorry. Alright, let's try and move these guys in. And we'll fire with that battalion. 2 dice. Using 4 or less. Not going to shoot with everyone. 4 or less, yep. Kills off that battalion, that regiment. I don't know. I'm at a loss as to what to do. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's send everything 1, 2, 3, 4 into here. There's no one left to shoot, so we get 1, 2. Can't bring our howitzer. All that one. 1, 2 dice. 2 dice with +2, -2 is 4 or less. They miss, but they've got a big strong force here on Russell's top. And the killing time marker is really dwindling here. It hasn't moved lately. I think we need to reinforce that area. So we'll move what we move is a couple of battalions here. We'll move these guys into here, and they'll shoot 1 dice with a 5 or less. That's a hit. We'll place them. Oh, we don't have any remnants, so we'll kill off a remnant. There we go. So the Ottomans are finally fighting for Russell's Top. They've finally got a presence there. Maybe that's the idea. You send 1 unit in, they may get wiped out, but you can follow through just with more units. So let's send more in. Let's send these guys in, the guards. They'll jump in. No one to shoot. 2 dice needing 2 or less. A hit and a killing time. So it kills off that unit. Yeah, okay. As Allied forces respond, they are going to move, I think, a battalion from Queen's Post. Maybe even 2 battalions. They've got a few guys up here, so let's go 2. 1 just around there, and they will shoot with 2 dice needing 4 or less. 2 hits, so we'll eliminate that battalion. Okay. So we've drawn some forces away now from Queen's Post. Let's soften it up with this artillery. 9 dice, needing 1 or less. As killing time and no hits at all. Horrific roll. That brings the turn to an end, but we do have a close combat here. And we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 against 6. Okay, and the Ottoman forces are on the attack, so let's look at their hand and see what they've got. A couple of infiltrate. Let's lead with infiltrate and see how the Allies respond. They have an infiltrate right there on top there, so they meet that, and they need to get, what's their best commander? I think it's a +1 modifier. Yep, a +1. They need a 4 or less to seize initiative. They succeed. That was a 3. So the Allies can now lead. They've got a few bayonet charges there, or 2 ambushes. Let's lead with an ambush. Can the Turks respond? Yep, there they go. Now the Ottoman forces looking to seize the initiative with a 4. They've got a +2, so 5 or less. Yep. And they will respond with a raid. And, oh yep, Allies can respond to that. Seize initiative on 4 or less. Yep. They'll do a bayonet charge. Ottoman forces can respond to that. Seize initiative on a 5 or less. No. Another bayonet charge. They have to throw their reserve trench in to match that. Seize initiative on a 5 or less. No. Allies' last card is ambush. Can't be met by the Ottoman forces, so the Allies win. Turks lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they retreat. Allies lose 2, so they'll just lose that battalion. And that's the end of the scenario. It's the end of the third turn. It is a short scenario, and I really rushed through that last turn just to get things done. But geez, it's tough. I think you really need to change your strategy. You really need to change the way you're thinking. From scenario 1 to scenario 2, I think it's almost like as I was saying just a moment ago, send a group of units in, soak up the counterattack, the defensive fire. You're exhausting units in Russell's Top, for example, and then you send another group in. So you will lose casualties. The Ottoman forces will lose a lot of casualties, but they need those units to be exhausted and then rely on close combat. What I was doing early on turn 1, if you would have seen the last video I did, was I was relying on the artillery to try to soften up those units, and it just doesn't work because they need ones to hit, and the killing time marker was being advanced far too quickly. If I don't do that, if I just rely on close combat instead, it doesn't advance the killing time marker. yeah, this would be worth a playthrough again, just to get a sense of if that revised strategy worked. Rather than softening up, just charge in, send groups in to concentrate on a position. Yeah, I think that I got a sense that could have worked. You can see the front lines are being reduced because of that. There's only one battalion here with machine gun, one battalion here with machine gun. So yeah, the front lines are looking weaker. We've only got 2 battalions on Russell's top now. So yeah. The Allies are suffering some casualties. I just needed to figure that out earlier. So there you go, folks. The pretty much a historical outcome. The Ottoman counterattack was defeated. Allies hold all their original positions, and yeah, pretty horrific rate of Ottoman casualties. As I said, that is scenario 2 from Assault on Gallipoli. Thanks everyone for watching, and take care.